Hey, welcome back to another awesome episode of the Amplify You podcast. I am your host, Michelle Abraham. Thank you so much for being here with us today. With me today, there's no one else here, just me. So today I am joined by myself. I'm so used to saying that I'm joined by someone else, but today it's just me. And I wanted to come on and talk to you a little bit about what are some things that are holding people back from actually getting their podcast up and going. We have pretty great success record here at Amplify You. And in fact, we have a no one left behind policy. So if you start off creating a podcast with us, we will not leave you behind. We want you to finish. We want you to have a successful show, and we want you to get your show finally launched and out there into the world and into the ears of those people that need to hear you the most. But along the way, we come across a few things that are holding our clients back. And you know what? This is not coming from just our clients. These are the things that were holding me back at the beginning as well, too. I mean, it took me a good I think 5 years of being interested in podcasting and working in the podcasting space before I even launched my own show. So, I definitely relate to a lot of these issues. And, these issues are not huge issues. They're things that you can overcome quite quickly with the right support, the right team, just the right knowledge, and just the right will to just, remember that it's not about you. Your message and getting it out there in the world and submitting your podcast into the world is not about you. It's about whose life you can impact and who can you make a difference, whose life can you make a difference in, and who needs to hear your message. So for me, that really helped if I kept it in the perspective. It's not about me. And it's not poor me, no one will listen. It's not poor me, I don't have enough to say. It's who needs to hear the messages that we're about to deliver. That's really what it's all about. Okay, so we've noticed probably about 4 things that really happen most commonly amongst our clients, and like I said, myself included. So the first thing is fear. Okay, so fear comes in all sorts of funny things. Fear, actually what we see more often than not is fear of success. So, what happens if my podcast gets out there and I get too big and too popular and I'm not ready for that in my business and I don't have the foundation, you don't have the foundation ready, and I don't have programs and services to get people into. So that fear of success is a popular one, but I'm going to call it big BS on that one. Just go with it. Get your show out there. Don't worry if it's going to be a big success. If it's going to be a big success, fantastic. That's great. More power to you. So don't worry about it becoming too successful. More often than not, it's a slower process than we think, getting a show out there and getting it super successful. And then also there's the fear of hearing your own voice, the fear that no one will listen, the fear of all the negative things, right? The fear of the trolls are going to come out from the internet and make comments on your show. That's a really popular one too. So whatever fear it is that you're feeling, what really helped me get over the fear was, like I said before, just thinking about who needs to hear your message. And, some of our clients are like, but I only had 100 downloads this show. And if you think about it, if you had 100 people in your living room, you'd be thrilled to talk to them. So 100 downloads is great. So keeping in mind that it's just that one person, you need to make a difference in that one person's life, and then you've done your job, right? That's what you're here for, is to deliver an amazing mission-based message that's going to empower people to either make change or create a movement or do something powerful and impactful with their life. And so that covers fear. One of the other ones that we come across quite often is this idea that you need a whole bunch of equipment to get started. And you know what? Maybe giving myself a little credit, back 5 years ago when I was about to get started, that could have been the case very well. You think that you need a microphone and an equalizer and this sound thing and that sound thing and a scissor, scissor lift, or scissor was not scissor lift, a scissor holder for your microphone, and you need the pop filter, and you need a fancier computer, and you need better editing software, and you need the HD camera, and you need all these things. And yes, you can need all those. That would be fine if you had all those things, but you don't need them to get started. And in actual fact, all you need to get started these days is a laptop computer. Not even a laptop, it could be a desktop. But you need a computer, capability of recording on your computer. And we record in, we're recording in Zoom right now. We're using Zoom meeting to record. You can use all sorts of different things to record. And I use a simple Blue Yeti microphone. Costs about $150. And you know what? Sometimes I don't even use it. So it's not really that big of a difference in sound quality, I think, between using it and not using it. Although I'm sure the audio engineers out there will beg to differ on my opinion on that. So the great news is that there's not a lot of things that you need to get prepared to use for equipment in order to get started. One of my mentors, the late James Martell, he would talk about when he first started in the podcasting world, he would have to hold his microphone up to a handheld phone that was attached to a cord that was plugged into dial-up internet. And there was a modem there, and it was done very, very complicated with lots of wires and lots of different pieces. And good thing nowadays that's not the case. So you can literally you can even record just right from your phone. So much easier now than it was back in the day. Okay, so we've covered so far the fear. That's number one. Number two we've covered is the equipment that is necessary, the overwhelm, technology overwhelm that people get. Okay. Number three is an interesting one. And that is procrastination is stagnation. So when we procrastinate on doing something, doesn't get done, gets pushed to the side, gets pushed as a further project, it creates a stagnation in the project. So if you're not taking small little steps of moving forward into a project, it just gets stagnant and you lose interest in it. Oh, I know for myself, I'm definitely a project starter, not so good at being a project finisher. So keeping up with the project, keeping it moving forward is really important. So now it's not even the procrastination, it's also the perfectionism that creates the stagnation and stops you from moving forward. The over analytical need to analyze every little thing that you said in a show, edit out every and ah, and all those other fun things that comes from being a perfectionist. When Braden and I first started at Amplify You, we had a saying, and I still use this saying today, that, if you're not embarrassed by your first few episodes, you waited too long to publish them. And it still holds true. You really need to just get something out there and into the world. And it may not be your best quality, it may not be your best episodes, but you're out there and you're getting started. And the more action you take and the more times you record and the more people you interview, obviously the better that you're going to get. That's all I have to say about that. Just do it. Stop procrastinating. Stop trying to be perfect. Done is better than perfect, right? So just getting it done and getting it out there is better than being perfect. You can always refine and tune up and get better equipment and get a prettier website and update your cover art and whatever else that you need to do along the way. But just get started. Just get your message out there, and no time is better than now. In fact, yesterday was the best time to get your podcast out there. I was reading an article yesterday that says you literally have about 3 more years to get a podcast out. And after that, podcasting is not going to hold the same sort of value it does now, where, back in the day when blogging was super popular and you launched a blog and celebrities were endorsing it and it was easy to get traction and lots of listeners or lots of readers. It's kind of getting to the end of that in podcasting right now, where it's getting a little bit harder to get listeners, a little bit harder to get the numbers of crazy downloads. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that it takes a little bit more effort now than it used to take a few years ago. So this article was saying you have about 3 more years of that in podcasting before there's more podcasters than there are listeners, where right now there's definitely more listeners and lots of space in the podcasting world. So that was number 3, was the procrastination equals stagnation and perfectionism issues that we tend to have. So first of all, we gone through fear. Then we went through the next one, which was gone out of my head already. What was the next one? So the fear, and then we talked about the perfectionism, stagnation, and the equipment. So we've gone through those 3 already. And the last one is time. So it's a time, it really stops people in their tracks. So thinking that something is going to take way more time and way more effort than it actually does. So we obviously like podcasting the smart way. And this is, we really encourage our clients to podcast the smart way, where you start at the beginning of the month and you get a bunch of episodes together. You just sit down and get them out of there. And then from the podcast episodes, that's where they get the rest of your content for your social media and your promotions for the month. And so if you were actually to do it that way, that would take you less than 2 hours a month, and you would have all your content that you need for the entire month. Pretty cool, right? I think that's kind of an interesting way of putting it. So if we look at podcasting in general, it is a time-consuming project with a lower return on investment for some people. But if you look at investing in a team and having the support like we do, because having a podcast manager saves you so much time that you're able to go out there and get more clients and make that investment in the podcast management way more viable and much more better return on your investment than if you were to sit there and try to figure out the editing and figure out the social media and figure out how to create the images and figure out how to upload everything. Yeah, it does take a lot of time to learn all those things. And at the end of the day, I think your best maybe you came in here as a maybe you're a corporate trainer or a mindset coach, or you're a money coach. But now all of a sudden you're learning to do editing on podcasts and videos, and you're learning to create audiograms, and you're, creating images in Canva. That's like way out of your wheelhouse. So stick with your wheelhouse, stay in the content creation zone, and get the support you need in the team aspect like we have. So it's kind of nice to be having a team on your side when you're creating a show. So to back it up again, we got fear stops people in their tracks. We've got the technology stopping people in their tracks. We've got the procrastination and perfectionism. And we've also, the last one is the time and effort you think it takes to create a podcast. So we're all about doing things in the most leveraged way possible. So just keep those in mind as you are thinking about starting your podcast or as you're getting started in your podcast. And don't let these 4 things hold you back from launching your podcast. And there's no better time than now. If you need some support, you want some help launching your show, we are here. We're more than happy to help you. We're actually coming up onto, I think, around 78 shows that we've launched this year. Well, so in the last 12 months. And that's pretty awesome. I've just pressed submit to iTunes on our 3rd show this week. So we're wrapping up the year with lots of people publishing shows, lots of last minute shows getting in there. And we just love to see more shows getting out there. So if you would like some support and help, please reach out, Michelle at AmplifyU, and we spell that weird, right? AMPLIFYOU.ca. Or you can reach out to us at amplifyu.ca on Instagram and direct message us, or hit us up on Facebook Messenger. We would love to hear from you and hear what your ideas are for your podcast coming up. Okay, take care. We'll talk to you soon.